Welcome to our exploration of women in Mughal India, a journey through centuries of history, culture, and power. While much has been written about the political and economic life of the Mughal era, the stories of women, especially those of the aristocracy, have often remained in the shadows. In this video, we'll shed light on their roles, influence, and daily lives, drawing from rare documents, chronicles, and art. From queens and princesses to poets and warriors, Mughal women shaped the social spirit of their age. Let's begin by setting the stage. What was the status of women before the Mughals arrived in India? Understand the transformation brought by the Mughal era. We must first look at the position of women in ancient and early medieval India. Women were integral to the social structure, often wielding considerable influence. They advised rulers, participated in state affairs, and even took up arms when needed. Queens and princesses sometimes ruled in their own right, and women of noble families received administrative training. In court life, women served as attendants, guards, and even spies. Their presence was felt in religious, cultural, and economic spheres, and their status was a reflection of the age's cultural standards. In ancient India, women's roles extended beyond the household. They were educators, philosophers, and artists. Some became renowned teachers and debaters, while others excelled in mathematics and the fine arts. Music, dance, and painting were popular pastimes, especially among noblewomen. Women participated in religious rituals and enjoyed a status equal to men in spiritual matters. Their leisure activities included swimming, gardening, and various games. The apartments of noblewomen featured spacious courtyards and gardens, reflecting their active and vibrant lifestyles. Fashion and personal adornment were important aspects of women's lives. In the early medieval period, women wore saris, bodices, and long scarves, with variations depending on region and status. Ornaments made of gold, silver, and precious stones were common, while even poorer women wore jewelry made from ivory, brass, or glass. Cosmetics, perfumes, and elaborate hairstyles were part of daily routines. These practices continued into the Rajput period, with noblewomen accompanying their husbands on hunts and religious ceremonies, further highlighting their active participation in public life. Economically, women shared ownership of household property with their husbands. While inheritance rights were limited, women had claims to personal property, including jewelry and fine clothing. Women of lower classes contributed significantly to agriculture, weaving, and crafts, and some were employed in royal palaces. Despite these contributions, the status of women began to decline with the advent of stricter social norms, such as increased seclusion and child marriage, especially after the arrival of Turkish and Afghan rulers. With the arrival of the Turks and Afghans, new customs influenced the position of women. Initially, seclusion was not strictly enforced, and women participated in politics and the arts. Royal harems became more elaborate, and the mother of the Sultan often held significant power. Some royal women received high titles and were respected for their wisdom and influence. However, over time, seclusion became more rigid, and women's roles in public life diminished, though some continued to wield power behind the scenes. Despite growing restrictions, several women played pivotal roles in the politics of the Sultanate period. Notable figures include Shah Turkan, who attempted to control the throne after her husband's death, and Razia Sultana, who became the first and only female ruler of Delhi. Razia's reign was significant, demonstrating that women could ascend to the highest positions based on merit. Other royal women, such as Malakai Jahan and Bibi Ambha, also influenced succession and political decisions, often acting as regents or power brokers in times of crisis. The royal harem was a complex institution, housing not only wives and concubines, but also female relatives, servants, and eunuchs. The sultan's mother often held the highest authority, followed by the chief wife. The internal management of the harem was overseen by a governess, usually from a noble family, and security was provided by trusted officials. While the harem was a place of seclusion, it was also a center of power, with women influencing political decisions and court intrigues from within its walls. Education was valued among royal women, despite the restrictions of seclusion. Girls from noble families were often taught at home by private tutors or learned women. Some attended special schools, and widows sometimes taught the Quran. Women participated in music, dance, and poetry, enriching the cultural life of the court. Notable female singers and dancers were celebrated for their talents, and the arts became a means for women to express themselves and gain recognition. Both Hindu and Muslim women in the Sultanate period wore elaborate dresses and adorned themselves with a variety of ornaments. Bright colors and intricate designs were favored, and the introduction of the nose ring became a notable fashion trend. Cosmetics, perfumes, and careful hairdressing were part of daily routines. These practices reflected not only personal taste, but also social status and cultural identity. Despite their achievements, women faced increasing challenges as social norms became more restrictive. Seclusion, child marriage, and limitations on religious participation became more common, especially among the elite. The freedom and honor enjoyed by women in earlier periods gradually diminished, though some rights and traditions persisted. The arrival of the Mughals would bring new dynamics, blending Persian, Turkish, and indigenous Indian traditions. With the rise of the Mughal Empire, women's roles evolved once again. Mughal women, especially those of the royal family, enjoyed certain privileges and participated in politics, administration, and cultural life. The position of widows was significant, as they often acted as regents for their young sons. Women accompanied their husbands to battlefields and sometimes took active roles in warfare. The Mughal court became a center for female influence, blending Central Asian, Persian, and Indian customs. The family of Babur, the founder of the Mughal dynasty, offers early examples of women in positions of power. His grandmother, Asin Daulat Begum, played a crucial role in his rise, offering wise counsel and managing state affairs during crises. Babur's mother and wives also contributed to political decisions, with some acting as mediators and advisors. These women set a precedent for active female participation in the Mughal court, demonstrating that competence and wisdom were valued regardless of gender. Throughout Mughal history, women often acted as mediators in family and political disputes. Khanzada Begum, Babur's sister, was elevated to the status of Padshah Begum and played a key role in reconciling her brothers during times of conflict. Her diplomatic efforts, though not always successful, reflected the trust placed in women to resolve sensitive issues. Other women, such as Haram Begum and Lad Malika, also used their influence to shape political outcomes, sometimes leading armies or managing territories. Mughal women were not confined to the harem. Some took active roles in warfare and administration. They accompanied their husbands to battlefields, managed fortresses, and even led troops when necessary. The story of Lad Malika, who defended her territory after her husband's death, and Rani Karmavati, who resisted invasions and negotiated with emperors, illustrate the courage and leadership of women during this era. Their actions challenged traditional gender roles and left a lasting legacy. The Mughal harem was more than a place of seclusion. It was a hub of political activity. Women managed large households, supervised officials, and sometimes controlled significant resources. The harem's organization reflected the complexity of court life, with strict hierarchies and protocols. Women's influence extended beyond domestic affairs, as they advised emperors, mediated disputes, and participated in the distribution of titles and grants. Their behind-the-scenes power was a defining feature of Mughal governance. One of the most influential women in Akbar's early reign was Maham Anaga, his chief nurse. She played a pivotal role in court politics, helping Akbar assert his independence from regents and nobles. Maham Anaga's family held key positions, and her advice shaped major decisions. Though her influence waned over time, her story exemplifies how women could rise to prominence through loyalty, wisdom, and strategic alliances within the royal household. Succession in the Mughal Empire was often fraught with intrigue, and women played crucial roles in these power struggles. From supporting their sons, claims to the throne to negotiating with rival factions, royal women were deeply involved in the politics of succession. Their ability to mobilize support, manage resources, and influence key decisions made them indispensable in times of crisis. These stories reveal the complex interplay between gender, power, and dynasty in Mughal India. Jahanara Begum, the eldest daughter of Shah Jahan, became one of the most powerful women of her time. After her mother Mumtaz Mahal's death, Jahanara assumed the role of chief lady of the harem and wielded significant influence at court. She mediated family disputes, secured pardons for princes, and played a key role in political negotiations. Her patronage was sought by courtiers and governors alike, and her support could make or break careers. Jahanara's story highlights the potential for women to shape the course of empire from within the palace walls. Mumtaz Mahal, the beloved wife of Shah Jahan, is remembered not only for the Taj Mahal, but also for her political influence. She accompanied Shah Jahan on campaigns, advised him on state matters, and even held the royal seal, giving her insight into government affairs. Her interventions could determine the fate of nobles and officials. Mumtaz Mahal's early death left a void in the court, and her daughter Jahanara inherited her position as the premier lady of the harem. Perhaps the most famous of all Mughal women, Nur Jahan, wife of Jahangir, wielded extraordinary power. She formed a political clique with her family, influenced appointments, and even issued royal orders. Nur Jahan's intelligence and determination made her a key player in court politics, and her support was sought by nobles and foreign envoys alike. Her involvement in the suppression of rebellions and management of state affairs set her apart as a true power behind the throne. Nur Jahan's influence sparked controversy among contemporaries and later historians. Some foreign travelers described a junta, or clique controlling Jahangir's court, while Persian sources offer mixed accounts. Despite debates about the extent of her power, it is clear that Nur Jahan's personal relationship with Jahangir and her political acumen allowed her to shape imperial policy. Her story illustrates the complexities of female power in a male-dominated world. One of the most dramatic episodes of Nur Jahan's career was her confrontation with Mahabat Khan, a powerful noble who rebelled against Jahangir. When Mahabat Khan captured the emperor, Nur Jahan orchestrated a daring rescue, rallying loyalists and leading troops in battle. Though ultimately forced to surrender, she continued to plot and eventually secured Jahangir's release. This episode showcased her courage, strategic thinking, and unwavering loyalty to her husband. After Jahangir's death, Nur Jahan retired from public life, accepting a pension from Shah Jahan and living in seclusion. Her withdrawal from politics was voluntary, reflecting her deep attachment to Jahangir rather than a loss of ambition. Despite opportunities to continue influencing court affairs, she chose a life of quiet dignity. Nur Jahan's legacy endures as a symbol of female power, intelligence, and resilience in Mughal India. Beyond politics, Mughal women were active in social and cultural spheres. They organized feasts, festivals, and charitable works, and were patrons of the arts. Painting, music, dance, and poetry flourished under their influence. Some women supervised the construction of gardens and buildings, leaving a lasting mark on the architectural landscape. Their contributions enriched the cultural life of the empire and fostered a vibrant, courtly atmosphere. Education remained important for Mughal women, especially among the elite. Many were well-versed in Persian, Arabic, and local languages, and some became accomplished poets and writers. Literary salons and gatherings provided spaces for intellectual exchange, and women's writings contributed to the rich tapestry of Mughal literature. Their pursuit of knowledge challenged stereotypes and inspired future generations. Mughal women played significant roles in religious and charitable activities. They sponsored the construction of mosques, temples, and charitable institutions, and organized food distribution for the poor. Their patronage extended to scholars, artists, and religious leaders, fostering a spirit of generosity and piety. These activities enhanced their social standing and reinforced their influence within the community. Aristocratic women in the Mughal court enjoyed various privileges, including titles, allowances, and maintenance grants. They managed their own estates, supervised officials, and received gifts and honors from the emperor. Some engaged in commercial activities, maintained contacts with the outside world, and wielded the royal seal. These privileges reflected their status and reinforced their authority within the court. Despite the seclusion of the harem, Mughal women maintained contacts with the outside world through correspondence, gifts, and diplomatic missions. They exchanged letters with foreign rulers, received travelers and envoys, and sometimes acted as intermediaries in negotiations. These interactions expanded their influence beyond the palace and contributed to the cosmopolitan character of the Mughal court. While much of the historical record focuses on aristocratic women, the lives of middle and lower class women were also significant. They faced challenges such as dowry, child marriage, and limited property rights, but contributed to the economy through agriculture, crafts, and trade. Some became poets, educators, or religious leaders, carving out spaces for themselves in a patriarchal society. Their resilience and creativity added depth to the social fabric of Mughal India. Education was not limited to the elite. Some women from middle and lower classes pursued learning, especially in religious and literary fields. Saint poetesses and writers emerged from diverse backgrounds, contributing to regional literature and religious movements. Their works addressed themes of devotion, social justice, and personal experience, reflecting the diversity of women's voices in Mughal India. Marriage customs varied across regions and classes, with practices such as dowry, child marriage, and arranged unions shaping women's lives. Despite restrictions, some women exercised agency in choosing partners or managing household affairs. The joint ownership of property and participation in family decisions reflected the complexity of gender relations in Mughal society. Women participated actively in religious life, organizing rituals, attending festivals, and making pilgrimages. They played key roles in household worship and community celebrations, blending Hindu, Muslim, and local traditions. These activities fostered a sense of identity and belonging, while also providing opportunities for social interaction and cultural expression. Artistic expression was a vital part of women's lives, from painting and embroidery to music and dance. Noblewomen often hosted salons and performances, while women of all classes engaged in crafts, gardening, and decoration. These activities provided creative outlets and opportunities for socialization, enriching the cultural landscape of Mughal India. Health and well-being were important concerns, with women using traditional remedies, cosmetics, and hygiene practices. Midwives and healers played vital roles in childbirth and healthcare, especially among the lower classes. The use of perfumes, oils, and herbal treatments reflected both cultural preferences and practical needs, contributing to the overall quality of life. Property rights for women were limited, but not non-existent. Women could own personal property, such as jewelry and clothing, and sometimes managed estates or businesses. Legal reforms and customary practices varied across regions, reflecting the diversity of experiences among Mughal women. These rights provided a measure of security and autonomy, even within a patriarchal framework. Mughal women were patrons and practitioners of the arts, commissioning paintings, supporting musicians, and participating in literary circles. Their patronage helped shape the distinctive aesthetic of the Mughal court, blending Persian, Indian, and Central Asian influences. Artistic achievements became a source of pride and a means of asserting cultural identity. Women formed networks and alliances within the harem and beyond, supporting each other in times of crisis and collaborating on charitable projects. These relationships provided emotional support, facilitated the exchange of information, and strengthened their collective influence. The bonds between mothers, daughters, sisters, and friends were central to the resilience and success of Mughal women. Mughal women sometimes played roles in diplomacy, receiving foreign envoys, exchanging gifts, and corresponding with rulers abroad. Their involvement in international relations reflected the cosmopolitan nature of the Mughal court and the importance of women as cultural ambassadors. These interactions contributed to the empire's prestige and facilitated the exchange of ideas and goods. As the Mughal Empire declined, the roles and status of women underwent significant changes. Political instability, economic challenges, and shifting social norms affected their opportunities and freedoms. However, the legacy of Mughal women endured, influencing later generations and shaping the evolution of gender roles in South Asia. Their stories remind us of the resilience and adaptability of women in the face of changing times. Our understanding of Mughal women comes from a variety of sources, including chronicles, travelers' accounts, literature, and art. While many records focus on the elite, glimpses of ordinary women's lives can be found in poetry, legal documents, and oral traditions. Modern historians continue to uncover new perspectives, challenging stereotypes, and highlighting the diversity of women's experiences in Mughal India. Women's voices are preserved in the poetry, memoirs, and letters of the Mughal era. Figures like Gulbuddin Begum, who wrote a memoir of her family, offer rare first-hand accounts of court life. Poets and writers from various backgrounds contributed to a rich literary tradition, addressing themes of love, devotion, and social justice. These writings provide invaluable insights into the inner lives and aspirations of Mughal women. The legacy of Mughal women is visible in art, architecture, literature, and social customs. Their patronage of the arts, leadership in politics, and contributions to education and charity have left an indelible mark on South Asian history. Their stories inspire ongoing discussions about gender, power, and cultural identity, reminding us of the vital role women have played in shaping the past. As we conclude our journey through the world of Mughal women, we see a tapestry woven from courage, intellect, creativity, and resilience. From the heights of political power to the everyday struggles of ordinary life, women in Mughal India navigated a complex world with determination and grace. Their stories challenge us to look beyond stereotypes and appreciate the richness of their contributions to history. For those interested in learning more, a wealth of resources awaits. From academic studies and biographies to art exhibitions and digital archives, the story of Mughal women continues to unfold. Exploring these materials not only deepens our understanding of the past, but also enriches our appreciation for the diversity and complexity of women's experiences across time and place.